So, Laura, thank you for being here. For those of you listening that don't know who Laura is, you've been missing out on the best marshmallows, s'mores, Dubai chocolate, fluff, all the things, so many things. Laura is the founder of Smoralicious, and it is as delicious as it sounds. So, Laura, how long has Smoralicious been going for?
We started in December 2020, just after lockdown, and I had just in the 3 months previous given birth to my youngest daughter, Maisie. And when I started, I was battling postnatal depression, had a newborn, and decided to start a business, as you do. But it was a bit of a lifeline for me, something that I could do and try to grow, as well as being a mum and a wife and all those other things in between.
Absolutely. So I want you to take us back to the moment, kitchen table, £30. What made you say, I'm going to start Smoralicious? Where the hell did the idea come from?
So at that Christmas time during lockdown, the 2020 Christmas, s'mores kits were all the rage. They were all over social media. Everybody was making them, but I decided I could make them better and higher end, and something that you'd want to give as a gift. So put in 30 quid, said, right, let's try this. My husband came up with the name Smoralicious and bought off the shelf items, and we made the s'mores kits, put them on Instagram, Facebook, and they sold out. And they kept selling out. And my in-laws, we all lived beside each other on the farm, and they laughed. They thought this was the funniest thing ever, and that it wouldn't last until after Christmas. They had never heard of s'mores. They're really old school farmers, that older generation. And to this day, my father-in-law still calls them Smurfs. So they laughed, said it wouldn't last, and I said, you know what, I'm going to prove you wrong.
Fuck yeah.
Yeah.
Love that. And let's just say you have more than proved them wrong. So you started off with s'mores, and then people started asking you to make marshmallows, right?
Yeah, so in 2021, the s'mores kits were still selling, and people were asking me, could I make my own marshmallows? And I knew in order to build a business that I was going to have to introduce new things and diversify, and that one product wasn't a business. I'd never made a marshmallow before. Where'd I even start to make marshmallows? And if you ask my husband, he'd say I'm probably the worst cook ever as well. I'm definitely not a baker. So I set myself a goal between the Christmas and New Year of 2021 going into 22 that I'd try and make some marshmallows. So I bought this mixer off Amazon, and it was like 80 quid. I was like, oh my God, 80 quid on a mixer. Made a few batches of marshmallows. Absolute disaster. Complete disaster. And then I got it right. And then I was like, what? I've made the marshmallows. The feedback was incredible. They tasted really good. Sent them out, and the feedback coming back was amazing. I thought, I can do this. I can make marshmallows.
And you've got how many flavours of marshmallows would you say you've done now?
Oh, I don't know. I've lost count. I have
so many.
We've just released 6 new flavours this week. So So many.
What would you say has been like the most popular flavour of marshmallow that you've sold?
Oh, the classic vanilla.
Always
like the vanilla, the one we started off with. It is definitely the most popular.
Is there a flavour that even if somebody begged you to do it, you still would not do it?
I don't know. I haven't thought about that.
You say you've never had anyone like, because I know you get people messaging you all the time, like, we want to see this, we want to see that. There's never been one where you've been like, there's no way I'm doing that. Have you ever questioned a flavour like, really?
Not that I've questioned. I know there's some flavours that just won't work, and I'll always say, yeah, it'll work, or no, it won't work. But there hasn't been anything that I've sort of went, what? Like, you know, actually I did put a post on TikTok about a month ago for flavour ideas, and somebody did put into it about goat's cheese and honey. I was like, Goat's cheese? Absolutely not. I love cheese, but I draw the line at goat's cheese. Yeah.
And with marshmallows.
Yeah. With marshmallows.
That's definitely, yeah, that doesn't sound like a solid combo for sure.
No.
So one thing that's really impressive is you scaled the brand with no outside investment whatsoever. What would you say has been the most, like, what the fuck is my life moments while you've been on that journey? I mean, I'm sure there's loads that you could probably list off, but is there a time that you can think of where you was really like, what the hell have I gotten myself into?
In a good way or a bad way?
Maybe more, yeah, like a bit of a real pivotal moment where maybe it was like scary, really out of your comfort zone. Maybe you thought, maybe I can't do this. Like, have you ever had those moments along the way?
Well, with any business, like, there are always ups and downs. Like, there's good times and bad times. And I think the biggest test in time for me was in 2023 when I rebranded, and we worked with a company who created our brand. And don't get me wrong, the brand which was created I absolutely love, and we have grown that and developed that ourselves, but there was a lot of issues with that company, and a lot of negative things happened, and it almost ruined the business financially. It almost broke my mental health as well. And if I hadn't had really good, strong women around me at that time, I think I probably would have given up, because the stress and the pressure that it put onto me to keep going was immense. And, you know, it happens in business, things happen that are bad, but it's how you deal with it and how you react and move on, I suppose. And I said to myself, yes, it's bad. Yes, it's nearly financially ruined us, but I won't let one person ruin what I have put in years of hard work. And I'm so glad that I didn't let it win. And what we're building now is just unbelievable. Unbelievable things are happening, which I never thought imaginable. But yeah, that one moment was really hard.
I remember.
Yeah.
It was not.
Yeah, I think, you were one of the people in my circle, and if I hadn't had you and a couple others, I just would not. I was a mess, and I was a mess. It was bad.
It was tough.
Yeah.
But I feel like these conversations are important, because I was thinking about it on the way here, thinking that there's probably going to be people watching this episode and thinking, she's so lucky, like she's been able to get this beautiful branding done or this or that, but a lot of people have no idea what the hell went down behind the scenes with your branding. Like, yep, you've come out the other side, it's gorgeous, everybody loves it, it's incredible, but the stress you went through, and it went on for so long as well, didn't it?
And it's still not sorted. It's with a legal team now at the minute. Obviously, I can't really go into what is happening. Maybe someday I will share the story, but it's not something, like, I don't want to slate anybody else, but I don't want it to happen to anybody else. And I have since found out that it has happened to a few other brands that have went out of business because of the actions of one person. But yeah, business is tough, and especially whenever you are doing it on your own and you don't have a big team of people behind you. It's really important to have that circle that can have your back and support you, because although on social media everything looks great and aesthetic, behind the scenes it's probably absolute chaos.
Always. So, like you said, being a business owner, all sorts of challenges, new level, new devil, 24/7. But when you started, you were experiencing postnatal depression. So what was that like?
Postnatal depression is a difficult one because it affects everybody differently. Obviously I was pregnant during lockdown, which was a completely different experience, I suppose, than normal pregnancy. I have an older daughter as well, so it was a completely different pregnancy, and I loved being at home. It was great. It was the most relaxing pregnancy ever. However, my husband missed out on so much. of that pregnancy because he wasn't allowed to come to things, which there's so many women that happened to. So obviously I felt a lot of guilt around that, and you have more time to reflect. We had more time to reflect during lockdown and different things. So yeah, I was probably very emotional. And then I do have PTSD, previously diagnosed PTSD and quite bad anxiety. And I think that, along with giving birth and the lockdown and all the emotions, I was silently dealing with it. And I did try to reach out to the health visitor, who was really patronising. She gave me a pat on the back and told me I was a very brave girl, but it wasn't her area of expertise, which, I feel in the UK and Ireland, it's not talked about enough. There's not enough awareness around postnatal depression, and a lot of women feel like they can't reach out because they feel like they're an absolute failure, that they're not a good enough mother, and it's nothing to do with being a mother, or sometimes it's nothing to do with even bonding with your baby, because I love my children and the bond was there instantly. It was just how I was feeling, just probably every emotion going.
Yeah, it's a tough one. I can imagine the guilt around. I think you all. I'm not a mother, but from what I see, all of you that are mothers, there's like constant guilt. I imagine your business alone sometimes makes you feel guilty towards your children. We do get pulled away from it. Again, like you said, you go on social media, everything looks amazing. You've got all these people, not you, but other people talking about how they run a business in 2 hours a day and all this other crap. And it's like, actually, it's a lot of evenings of being like, I need to sit down and do this. I can't deal with that right now. Or going off to an event, or all of the things. So I imagine that's quite difficult as a mum as well, like just running a business and that demanding so much of your time and your energy.
Yeah, it is really difficult because I have like 2 daughters. One's 17 and the other one's 4, and you even feel guilty if you spend time with one and not with the other, and then you're trying to run a business in the mix of everything too, and be a wife and run a home, and you're spending so much time invested in your business and social media, and I feel like I am constantly on my phone as well, which is not good, and I don't want to be, but obviously that's what you have to do. And whenever your 4-year-old tells you to put your phone down, then you're feeling guilty, but in reality you're doing it for them, so they can have the nice things, the holidays, all the stuff that I never had growing up. My oldest daughter has recently passed her driving test. I was able to get her a car. Like, the me of 5-6 years ago would never have been able to do that, so they have to see that hard work, that you have to work hard if you want the nice things. And my oldest daughter does come in and she does help a bit as well, so you're trying to teach them the values of money, you're trying to teach them that you can be an entrepreneur and start your own business, that if you want to do that. If you don't, that's completely okay as well, but you're teaching them values. And my youngest as well would get her pretend laptop out and say she's doing a bit of work, so obviously they see a bit of a work ethic, and they're going to want to work hard because they know when you work hard, that's when you get the nice things. And I feel like a lot of the younger generation now do not appreciate that. Completely
agree. Do your kids ever try and like steal food? Because if I was your kid, I would constantly be in your shed like, Mum.
Of course, all the time. The youngest one is obsessed with marshmallows.
Is she?
And s'mores biscuits. At the minute, she's like, can I just get some of them s'mores biscuits, Mummy? And maybe a marshmallow. Like, she's obsessed. And she loves, like, we've got a fire pit outside. She loves toasting marshmallows. She's just, she's so funny. But it's always been there. So she has been brought up with it. So she doesn't know it any different.
I love that. I would be exactly the same if I was her. Constantly be like, Mum, get the s'mores out. And I have also tasted them, guys. They are delicious. So we've spoken about some of the challenges. What would you say has really supported you in your business? I know you said having like a good circle of people to get you through things. Is there anything else in particular that you say has kept you going? Because like we said, business comes with its own challenges, but you've done it with PTSD, postnatal depression. You also, if I'm correct, fibromyalgia, that's where you're really tired all the time, isn't it?
Yeah, you're tired and you get aches and just a lot of brain fog, and yeah, sometimes you just hit a complete wall and you just can't do any more. And it's not something I really talk about very often. You know, I have it, I deal with it, and it's there, that's fine. It's just what it is. But sometimes whenever things are just a lot, then I know, right, look, I need to slow down a bit and start looking after myself a bit more. And I think when we're business owners or mums or just busy in general, that we sometimes neglect our own health and well-being. It's so easy to do.
100%. I mean, I say it all the time. I don't have kids. I don't know how you guys do it.
You just do. When you're a mother, you just do it.
Yeah.
There's no other way to describe it.
Yeah. It's insane to me. I'm like, I couldn't imagine doing all that work, making dinner, and then sitting down and then someone being like, Mom, being like, oh.
Well, the dinner part's questionable. Dinner part's questionable. Cooking is not my thing.
Yeah, love it. So you're amazing for all the marshmallows, but maybe not for a good dinner.
No. Cooking's just not the one.
Yeah, so does Adam do the cooking?
No, really. You know, thank goodness we live beside my in-laws, because without my mother and father-in-law, without my mother-in-law, my husband would probably starve most nights or go to the chippy. Yeah, so it's hard to balance everything.
I feel like there's always something to sacrifice, isn't there? It's like this or this. This, like, constantly, do I do this or do I do this? I find it, like I said, I don't even have kids and I find it hard. Like, sometimes I'm super organised, and me and Ryan will have dinner at like 6 p.m. and then we've got the whole evening to chill. Other times we're having dinner at 10 o'clock at night because I'm like I'm messed up. So are there any specific day-to-day activities or mindset work, anything that you'd say has really like contributed to your success with Smoralicious?
I don't think there's any sort of mindset things or anything in particular. I think I'm just so driven and know where I want to be. I know where I want the brand to be. I know where I want to be seen. I think I probably manifest quite a lot of things, and then things happen and I'm like, oh my goodness, it's actually happening. But I'm constantly thinking about what I want. I suppose it's subconsciously manifesting, and then when things happen, I'm always shocked, but I probably shouldn't be, because I've been putting it out there for so long that then it's happened.
You're someone that just cracks on as well.
Yeah, I think I'm very focused. You know, if I get up in the morning and I have something to do, I just crack on until it's done. And my mother-in-law said yesterday, she's funny, she laughed, she says, you always work better under pressure. And you know what, to a degree she's probably right, because I do put myself under a lot of pressure that I probably don't need to, but it always gets done. I don't know how, but things always get done. Always. Deadlines always get met and things get done.
I'm the opposite. I have to be super prepared. Like if I'm under pressure, I'll be sweating, anxiety, all of the things. Speaking of you being someone who just cracks on, do you remember when we met? Did you know that'll be 4 years in August when we met?
Are you joking?
Because I remember it was my birthday offer that you signed up to, because I was given a free 1-to-1 to everyone that bought the programme. And our 1-to-1 was when I met you for the first time, probably. And I'm not going to lie, you terrified me. I was like...
I hate this story.
I'm really confident normally, and I remember getting off the phone, off Zoom, and sitting with Ryan on the sofa and being like, a little bit worried about this one, because you were like, I can't remember what it was specifically that you said to me, but I told you to go off and action some things, and you were like, yeah, I just hope it works. And I was like, me too.
Well, there is a story behind that. There is a story. I'm sorry. No, there is a story behind that. So obviously at that time in August 21, my business was really new, and I did not understand about SEO, about growing on Instagram and all those things, and I had to go and Google what SEO was, because not, like, before I started this business, I could hardly switch a laptop on, never mind telling you about SEO and all those things that come with having a website and stuff. And I had bought this course previously from an Instagram expert who promised the world, and I bought into it and bought this course, and it was a complete load of nonsense. It was the worst money I probably ever spent ever on this business, and I was so disappointed and so deflated, because when you watch a lot of these things on Instagram in particular, they're promising you the world and they're going to help you do everything. And I had a call with this person, and I think I was probably her first ever client call that she'd ever had, because she didn't have a clue what she was talking about, and any of my questions she couldn't answer. And I went, you know what, I'm never ever buying another course of any social media person ever again, because it's all bullshit. So then fast forward a few months later, and you popped up on my Instagram, and you were actually live, and I watched your live, and I was like, oh, actually this girl maybe knows what she's talking about. So I watched your live and thought, you know what, I'll give her a go. And we'll see. And I'm sorry I come across really standoffish, but I did tell you this after, so you know the crack. So yeah, I bought your course, and oh my God, like, incredible. And things just started to flow. And you know, like, what I used all your courses for. And then I bought everything.
Yeah.
I just bought everything.
Then you
can't
just
get rid of me.
You became part of the furniture then, didn't you?
And now you can't get rid of me.
I
I'm just
know.
here.
I love it though. Every in-person thing, you like always fly over for it. It's amazing. I was super grateful that you didn't let that person put you off, because then we wouldn't be
Exactly.
But yeah, there's a lot of that on social media, isn't there? Not even just stuff that the stuff that you end up buying, but even just consuming content sometimes sends you down that spiral. So the person that you were speaking about is someone I compared myself to all the time. I was like, they're younger than me, they're earning more money than me, they're growing faster than me, they're obviously better than me. We obviously know now that's not the situation, but how easy, I had no idea what was actually going on behind the scenes in her business. But to me, just because of what she was posting on social media, it was like, she's better than me. Do you feel like that a lot on socials, or are you quite good at like switching off from it?
I think at the start, for the first while, that really, I think it's like everybody gets really consumed about, especially that Instagram aesthetic, and you know, people are only posting the good bits. You're not going to see all the bad stuff, and you know what? That's not a true reflection of anybody's business or life in general, that people live the perfect life or have the perfect business with no bad things happening, because if they say that, it's actually probably bullshit. So yes, it really did used to affect me, and I used to compare myself to other brands and other businesses. And then I had a conversation with Gemma, and I was like, do you know what? I'm switching off. I'm not comparing. I'm not getting into that rut of, like, there's a real toxic rut, especially on Instagram, I think, and people are fueling other people, and it's just so much negativity. I'm just like, no, I'm not buying into that anymore. I very much stay in my own lane, do my own thing, want to grow my own business, grow my own brand, and I just don't have time for that. And I feel when you do switch off to it, then you start to bloom.
100%. And I think as well, we were talking about this earlier, the difference between Instagram and TikTok, and we both said as consumers, not business owners, we prefer TikTok, and I think you probably prefer TikTok for business as well, don't you?
Yeah.
TikTok's definitely a different vibe. Instagram I find quite toxic. It's all about who's got the best, who's doing the best, who's making the most money, wears the nicest clothes, who's had the biggest wedding. It's like constant, isn't it? Like toxic, I think. Whereas TikTok, you could open the app and it'll be someone who's sat on their bed in their pajamas with their hair on top of their head, speaking about like the worst day that they've just had, and like it's normal. And I think that's the issue. I think Instagram's worse. I feel like now that we're consuming more on TikTok rather than Instagram, it does help. Like, I don't consume any content on Instagram. I'll look at friends' photos, like my sister will post photos of my nieces and stuff, and I love that stuff, but the rest of it, I'm like so tuned out, I couldn't care.
Yeah, I'm the same. Like, I used to think, oh, it's all about Instagram, and I'm definitely moving away from that. Obviously, TikTok is, as you say, it's more real life. You know, you're getting the bad days, you're getting the good days, you're getting the highs and lows. I think people really appreciate that because people buy into people. People want to know what's going on. And from we went viral on TikTok at the start of this year, like, I have noticed a big growth in a really, really brilliant community on our TikTok, and the people there are just so nice. And even if they're not buying anything, they're still there, they're supporting, you know, they're joining our lives, you know, they're having the fun, the crack, and they're your biggest cheerleaders. And honestly, like, nothing goes unnoticed. Like, everything that's posted or commented, I see it all, and I just feel that on TikTok there's negativity, like with any social media platform, but there is such a good sense of community on TikTok that I don't feel is there on Instagram. Yes, we have some really loyal customers that have been with us for a long time are still on Instagram. We don't use really Facebook at all because I feel that people aren't really on Facebook as much these days. I feel people aren't really on Instagram as much these days either, because people generally don't like that aesthetic. People want to know the good with the bad and all the in-betweens. And yeah, I just feel that TikTok is definitely more relevant now.
Yeah, I find TikTok's algorithm is just so on point as well, isn't it? It's insane. Like one video of a dog and that's it, your whole feed is full of dogs, and like that's my dream feed, to be honest.
Yeah.
Whereas Instagram, I find Instagram toxic for sure for like my mental health. Like, if I'm having a bad time consuming content on social media, most of the time it's on Instagram, looking at other people in my industry that are doing the same thing as me, or even people doing a different thing to me, and I sit there and I'm like, why aren't I there yet? And it's like, whoa, where's that come from? Like, I was happy 5 minutes ago, like thinking, oh, I love my life, and then someone posts something and like, that's it, you just switch. It's just not good for you, is it?
No, it's so damaging, especially if you are in quite a vulnerable place in your own mindset. And you know, if you're struggling and you think, oh, business is not doing well, or my life isn't as perfect, or you know, I don't have these aesthetic days out and all this great, you know, family fun, and you know, even as a mother, you know, you feel guilty all the time because you feel like you should be doing all these fun family days out. It doesn't exist. I was once told, maybe about a year ago, I was told that so a girl and I were having a conversation, and she said, they're quite a big influencer from Northern Ireland, she'd seen her out and about with her family, and she had posted all this lovely aesthetic content, and she said, I seen her, she was standing screaming at her kids. Her husband walked off in a strop. It wasn't what's posted on her Instagram. And I thought, exactly, because nobody's seeing that bad stuff, and we need to remember that nobody's perfect, and you know, the perfect little family life or the perfect business doesn't exist, because that's normality.
Completely.
Yeah.
My next question was going to be, what's a lesson your business has taught you about life? I feel like that was quite a good lesson, that nobody's perfect, whether it's being a business owner, a parent, whatever it is. But is there anything else that's like not taught you something about business, but just given you a new perspective on life in general?
I think you need to be really careful who you trust. I think you need to be really careful who you bring into your circle. Not everybody's your friend. Not everybody wants you to do well, and I feel that whenever you are struggling, people are your biggest supporter. People like back you up, and sometimes whenever you're doing well, people don't like to see that. And I have had to cut off quite a lot of people. I've been let down by people, and you do realise who your true friends are. You do realise who has your back and who doesn't, which is really, really sad, because I would do anything to help anybody, and when people don't do that and are underhanded and quite nasty, it is really disappointing. That really, really gets to me. So I do think you need to be very careful who you can trust. Keep your circle small.
Yeah, 100%. It's interesting that you said that. Some family members, some friends, acquaintances, I feel like people used to ask me, how's the business going, more when I was this tiny little nobody. And then the minute, like, shit was good, it was like, people don't ask me anymore. How's business? Nobody asks me anymore.
Whenever I first started, I had this, I'll never forget it, a wholesaler that I wanted to use. This guy come out, he was going to be the rep, and he come out and he was just so cocky and so arrogant, and he was like, oh, that's a great wee hobby to keep you occupied when your kids are at school. And
Hobby?
I thought, you're standing here in your cheap suit coming to me with absolute, like, so rude, so disrespectful. Great wee hobby to keep you, to give you something to do while the kids are at school. I was like, what? And he says, like, maybe you'll just not be ordering, enough for us. But anyway, see, when I started to get busy, the texts all the time. Would you like to place an order? Would you like to place an order? Because obviously the traction was there, it was growing. It's like, absolutely not. Went and got another supplier. But people don't realise, like, words can be really damaging, and they do leave a lasting, but so patronising.
That's wild. Well, wait until he sees why you're in London today. So, what's next for you in Smoralicious? I know there's stuff we can't reveal right now, but any big plans, new launches? What's next? What's coming for Smoralicious?
Well, we are building a marshmallow factory. We're building our own marshmallow factory. I can't believe it. It's come about in a real whirlwind. So I went and done Farm Shop and Deli Show, which is a massive food show in Birmingham in, was it March or April time? And from the back of that, things have been really busy with our retail side. Then we went viral on TikTok in the middle of the whole thing, and the business is just going from strength to strength. So this was a longer term plan. This was like, we'll see how it goes. Adam, my husband, and I were having the discussion about a month ago, and he was like, well, what do you want to do? Because we're really lucky, we live on a farm, so we have loads of space. I was like, I don't know, maybe give it like 6 or 9 months and see if this keeps up and see if it's still going to grow. I've took on 3 staff in the last 6-7 months as well, which is scary. So I had this conversation on a Friday night. On the Monday morning, the foundations were being laid. I was like, what is going on here? Like, did I agree to this or what? And my husband's like the most laid back person, and he just said, look, we need to do it. We just need to do it now. So obviously he was right, but I don't tell him that. He was right. Of course he was right. He could see, and him and my father-in-law are really good at seeing the bigger picture and seeing how it's going. They're really methodical and think about things, whereas I'm a bit more, I don't know, probably a bit scattier. But yeah, the foundations were then being laid, and it's nearly like it's half finished. It's half finished. So I'm so glad, because we really do need it now.
When's that going to be ready then?
So the kitchen part will be ready probably in the next 2 weeks.
Oh, amazing.
And then we're building, on the side of that, we're building a massive packing area, storage area, and a TikTok live studio. So it's all happening. I can't believe it. But I do have this fear in about a year's time that it's not going to be big enough. Do have a bit of a fear, and my husband said this as well, but we're lucky that we can expand it out if we need to. Hopefully we will. So yeah, it needs to happen, because we're going for a few food certifications that we need the premises to be in line for that, for particular retailers. So yeah.
Exciting. So obviously we're filming this in June, but the episode's coming out in August. Have you planned that far ahead in terms of flavours, or is it all hush hush? I know obviously Halloween's big, really fun. The Halloween marshmallows that you do are like the cutest things I've ever seen. You do a lot for Christmas as well with that that naughty elf that I think anyone who has kids listening right now is probably rolling their eyes at the sound of the elf, but it will be here before we know it. Do you plan that far ahead? Are you already thinking up some things?
So I have a Christmas flavours planned already.
Love it.
Have those. First year that I have been probably really well organised.
Christmas is crazy for you, isn't it?
Yeah,
So
it's really busy. Because we're now in retail as well, retailers are buying their Christmas stock, like, even this is probably even now last minute for them in June. So you have to be 6-9 months ahead of yourself in a product-based business. It's crazy. There's so much learning on the way. There's so much, especially when you're going into retail. It's a whole different ball game, and there is nobody there that can sit you down and tell you what you need to do. It's all been learning as you go. So the Christmas flavours are there. The packaging's being designed at the minute. Halloween's not completely firmed up yet, but I do have plans in the pipeline for Black Friday, Christmas,
Yes.
Lots of stuff in the pipeline.
So everyone listening needs to find you to be first in the line, because I know what it's like at Christmas. I told both of my sisters, Laura's Christmas stuff is going live on this day. You need to go on the website on that day. And they're like, yeah, we will. And they left it a couple of days and they were like, Tori, it's all gone. I was like, I warned you. Like, you had to be first in the queue. So speaking of that then, where can people find you and get their hands on all of your deliciousness?
So we can be found on our own website, and on our website we also have a list of our stockists as well, the retail stockists. We're also on TikTok Shop. So yeah, lots of places to buy our marshmallow treats.
Amazing. And then final question for you. If someone is listening right now and they want to build a business, or maybe they've got an opportunity that they're sat on, and you know what it's like, all the thoughts go through your head. I'm not ready yet. I don't have enough time. I don't have enough money. You've been there, done that, worn the t-shirt. What advice would you give to them?
I would say just do it. Just stop waiting for, I need to do this, or I need to get that, or I need to wait for my packaging, I need to wait for the designs. Just launch it. Just go for it. I was once told, if you keep waiting, somebody's going to get in there ahead of you. So you need to just go for it. What's the worst can happen?
Exactly.
You know, so I always think just plow on and the rest will work itself out.
You have to just throw yourself into it before you have too much time to think about it, because I think the more time you give yourself, the more excuses come up, the more fears come up, the more BS comes up, doesn't it? I mean, I still remember, I can still picture it clear as day, your logo in my head, like the first Smoralicious logo. Like, I can
logo.
still see it, yeah. But like, it's funny, isn't it? Because like I said, if they've just started or they're about to start a product-based business, they'll look at yours and be like, well, her branding's amazing, of course she's doing well and all of this. But it's like, but did you see Laura in 2020 with Smoralicious? It's just wild, isn't it? Like, looking back at how far you've come.
It's crazy, and I don't really reflect enough probably on how far I've come. And so many people, I get so many DMs and messages saying, oh, but you're so far ahead compared to what I am. And I would always say, but don't compare yourself, because we all have to start somewhere. As you say, started with a Canva logo. We done the rebranding and all the stress that went behind that, the cost, the money, you know, everything is a gradual step. And the most important thing, especially in a product-based business, is having cash flow. Definitely have cash flow behind you. Whenever you don't have the cash there, don't do it. Just wait. Do not get yourself into a pile of debt over something that you don't know if it's going to work. Just keep going for it. Get the money behind you, and then grow as you have the cash, which is what I've done. All the money has been ploughed back into the business, which has allowed me to grow it and keep growing it without any investment, without putting ourselves into any debt. You know, I've heard of people remortgaging their houses and getting into so much debt, and I just think the stress of that alone is definitely not worth it.
Wild. When I watch Dragon's Den sometimes and they talk about their net losses, I'm like,
I know, I'm like, what?
I'd be dead. I'd be in my grave.
Yeah.
I would have had a heart attack and dropped dead. Like,
yes, like a big, massive business will have overheads and they'll have debts but they're a massive business that's turning over millions of pounds, not a small business just starting out, you know. And whenever you see, as you said, Dragon's Den, these smaller business going on and they haven't generated any sales, there's no traction, they're in so much debt, you're like, how, why, where would the joy be in that? Where would the fun be in the happiness in going to work? Because you're going to be constantly stressed about money, and the stress is just not, it wouldn't be good.
agreed. I think the happier you are, the better the results you'll always get.
Yeah.
Always. I think, whenever things have been the most fun, like when sometimes you just decide to do something last minute, like Black Friday, for example, for me is always so much fun, because you're just like, sod it, let's see what happens, let's just go with the flow, let's do something crazy. And then it's like, it's mental, isn't it? And then those times when you're really low, business is hard,
Really hard.
let alone with a cloud of debt above your head as well.
Yeah, so stressful. That would be so stressful, because growing a business is really difficult. Making sure you have the traction, the sales, and you know, we've been there where sometimes I'm going, frick me, like, you know, is this going to keep going? Are we going to keep? But you just keep going, just keep being consistent and pushing and not forgetting why you're doing it.
100%. You always got to go back to your why. So I thought of just one more final question. You have to pick one Smoralicious product, just one. What are you picking?
Oh, don't do this to me. What am I obsessed with at the minute?
Yeah, do one at the minute. Do that.
Of course, I'm always going to say the marshmallows, because they're like,
They're your baby.
they are the baby. But at the minute, I'm obsessed with the Dubai chocolate bar. The Dubai chocolate bar with the marshmallow fluff.
Yeah.
It's just like nothing you've ever tasted.
And I think the whole of TikTok is also obsessed with the Dubai chocolate.
The feedback is crazy. I can't get over the feedback and the traction. You know, every day the bars are just flying out and people love it. People are buying. There's one lady buying 10 bars a week. You know, like, what is she doing with these bars? But she keeps ordering them, so she's giving them. I found out she's giving them to friends, family, work colleagues, because she loves them. You know, and it's just, it blows me away. You know, sometimes for me, a lot of the time for me, it's not about money. It's about the customers coming back and the feedback. And for somebody to say to me, your business is amazing, your products are fantastic, that feedback means more to me than you handed me 100 grand. Like that is just the best feeling ever.
To have people not only coming back, but then buying it for other people as well, speaks volumes about your business. So
yeah,
you should be very proud of yourself.
Especially when it's your hard-earned money. We all work really hard for our money, and when people are coming and spending their money on my products, that just blows me away. That's insane. So
It's epic. You deserve all of the success that you've had and everything that is to come. So,
thank you.
on that note, cheers, my dears.
Cheers.
And thank you everyone for watching.